This is the Carl DeMaio Show. We're giving you the story behind the story. We're fighting to take back our state for a better California. Let's talk about 10 things that the California Republicans need to do if they're going to take back our state. You know me, I like 5-point plans, 10-point plans. And so we'll go with a 10-point plan for revitalizing the Republican Party in California. Like many Republicans, I'm frustrated. I'm fed up. I'm angry that California Republicans haven't put up a better fight, and the Democrats have taken over everything. They've got all the statewide offices. They got a supermajority in both the legislative chambers, the Assembly and the state Senate. They control most of the cities, the counties. And so, and it's getting worse. I mean, they got 53 out of the 53 seats. Republicans only have 7 seats. It can get worse. Whenever you think that we hit rock bottom, Republicans find some way to make it even worse and lose even more seats in California. So, I am frustrated and fed up, but I'm not despondent. I'm not, giving up. In fact, I'm actually also optimistic. I am very bullish on the prospects for taking back California if and only if the Republican Party of California gets its act together. And so here's a laundry list of things I think we need to focus on. 10 things. Starting out first, and I've said this a number of times, the Republican Party, number one, in California, the first thing they have to do, number one, is they've got to start talking about the issues again. And they have to start offering a positive, bold agenda for concerns that California voters have. If you look at the Democrats in California, they're full of bold ideas. I'd argue they're full of something else as well. I don't like their ideas, but their ideas are bold. They're constantly out there proposing their vision of bigger government as the solution for every single issue under the sun. And so they're winning the messaging war. They're at least offering ideas. What are the Republicans doing? Well, they're cowering in a closet somewhere. You know, they never lead on issues. They never offer anything. They sometimes come out saying we don't like something, or they hit the no button in the legislature. But what we need to see are bold, vibrant, detailed, aggressive policy proposals from Republicans on every issue that people are concerned about. So it can't just be about the economy, can't just be about public safety. It must go and extend into the issues that Democrats claim to have a majority or control on, and that is the environment. We have to talk about school safety and mass shootings. We've got to talk about the issue of congestion and proper development. All of these areas are fertile for Republican solutions. I believe we have better ideas on every issue than the Democrats. But those solutions are like the best kept secret in California because we're not talking about them. We're not offering them. And that's the fundamental first problem that the California Republican Party has and their candidates and their, the handful of elected officials we have left in the state. And so we've got to start out with something akin to the contract with America. Let's call it the contract with California. I don't care what label you put on it. I call it the reform agenda for California. But we have to come out with bold, vibrant solutions. And it doesn't matter what you call it, but it's important that you're out there talking about the issues that matter. A couple of the things that I think we should focus in on are obviously, number one, the cost of living in California. And that could address the issues of taxes. It could address the issue of mandates and regulation. But the cost of living is also your water bill. And that's provided by local government, bureaucracies, fat cat overtime and pension packages. And so we should be talking about, boy, the cost of water is too high in California. The cost of electricity is too high. The cost of gas is too high. Cost of living is the great unifier. People are fleeing the state because they can't afford to live here anymore. And when you talk about bending the cost curve, making it more affordable for people to stay in the state that they love, that resonates across party lines. And it, frankly, plays to our strengths of limiting the government intrusion in our daily lives and the amount of taxes that they're taking. Cost cutting, bending the cost of living in California, and personalizing it and being specific about it from not just your tax bill, but the gas that you pump, the water that you pour, the electricity that you use. Also on the positive agenda, we should be talking about how we improve schools, how we improve safety. We should be talking about, cleaning up the homeless crisis. We should talk about the litter on our freeways and our streets and say, hey, if you're on welfare, we should put you into the streets, on the sidewalks, on the side of the roads, and you're going to clean up the sides of the roads. We're going to have the most pristine communities you can imagine. Oh, it's terrible to have welfare recipients out there working and picking up trash. Oh, really? It's good for welfare reform, and it's really good for the environment. We should be talking about how we can reduce congestion by finally getting gas tax money put back into the roads and offering specific plans. We should be talking about how we're able to improve water capacity in our state, how we're able to better manage wildfires. Every issue that people talk about in the newspaper, we should be talking about as well. The bold agenda has to be set by the Republican Party. We have to be the party of ideas and solutions. Number 2, we need to have rapid response. And this is where when the Democrats pump out their bad ideas or something happens, that there is a school shooting, or the lights are turned off by the utility company, or we have a major wildfire, or a bridge is found with a bunch of cracks, or someone gets typhoid fever in Los Angeles because of the rat population, the homeless population. Whenever something happens in the news cycle, or a bill is passed in Sacramento, we ought to have rapid response, getting our Republican candidates, our Republican elected officials out in front of the cameras to hold a press conference saying, this is terrible and here's a better way to fix the problem. Democrats do that up and down the state. And by rapid response, I mean when something happens, we're out there that day within 2 hours to tell the media what we would do differently. That's not happening right now. Maybe once in a blue moon, you'll get an elected official taking advantage of responding to a developing story, but on the Republican side, but it doesn't happen very often. And by the way, we're a big state. And so what I want to do is have a message of the day. And the message of the day would then be carried out and delivered by an elected official in each of the media markets. There are 7 separate media markets in the state of California. So if Carl DeMaio calls a press conference in San Diego, we'll get on the San Diego stations, NBC 739, ABC 10, CBS 8, etc. But guess what? In Los Angeles and Orange County, they're in the LA media market. And so you're not going to get on NBC 4 or ABC 7 or CBS 2, unless you have an elected official in that area, Orange County, LA, Riverside, who can do a press conference and say, hey, I'm here to speak on behalf of this issue that's happening. This is wrong, and we have a better plan. Here are the specifics. In San Francisco, it should happen. In Sacramento, in the Central Valley, in Palm Springs, in Northern California, all throughout the state. We need to have rapid response, same-day press conferences on issues that break throughout the state of California, offering our response. Democrats do it all the time. Now, those are the first 2 out of my 10-point plan. Positive solutions, rapid response. I've got 8 more to go, and we're going to continue to cover these issues. But we're going to take a real quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about candidates and elected officials and how they've got to work harder, plus how we can actually put our ideas into action using the ballot initiative process. And we got to talk about ballot harvesting as well. That's coming up on the Carl DeMaio Show. First, this message.